almost blacked out from drinking and got back into the swing of things today.
Oh yeah.
And I went and watched myself some of the new Batman. This Batman was inspired by Spider-Man 3, mostly just in the hair. Why didn't Peter Parker wear some eyeshadow for that? That would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Just take off the Venom mask and just boom, straight up David Bowie makeup going on.
Yeah, this
That's what it was
answers
missing.
the question, what if Batman or what if Bruce Wayne was emo?
I mean, I'm a little mad though. We didn't get to see like a scene of him putting his makeup on.
True.
Like, when did he put his makeup on when the explosion was going on? Like, he didn't. He had his makeup on for the explosion scene. So that
Yeah.
means this guy's neck was beeping, and Batman's over there like with like a little mascara pin.
Yep.
Wait, gotta get around the eyelashes.
It did seem like a long time frame in between the guy coming through,
Mhm.
like coming through in the car, and the time that Batman actually approaches him. So that's probably what the delay was. I don't know why. It seemed like it'd been like a few hours where
Mhm.
everyone had cleared out and the bomb squad came in.
Yeah, well, I mean, I imagine it takes a while. Why do you say it was a few hours?
I don't know. It just seemed like it seemed like it was during the day when they all came in, and then it was nighttime by the time they. I mean, maybe it was dusk when they came. It just seemed like it had been a while.
Oh, I did not catch the fact that it got dark like that.
Yeah.
I remember it being fully lit. I thought that it got exploded and then he woke up in the prison like at nighttime, like, which didn't really make sense though. Like, those cops just stood around in their policeman's huddle, not taking off his mask until nighttime. Yeah, so I guess yours makes more sense than mine because it was definitely night when he did his little paragliding thing. Also, was that his first time using the paraglider? He should have practiced that. He
Yeah.
really should have done a few test flights.
Okay, so The Batman 2022 is a 2 hour and 56-minute movie, and a buddy of mine I was chatting to about it said it didn't feel like 3 hours, which I disagreed wholeheartedly. This
Yeah,
movie feels very long. However, it's a good 3 hours for a change.
it was a good 3 hours, but like I mean, I watched it twice. I watched it back when we were planning to record this when it came out new, and then we didn't.
Mhm.
Uh, and then, but I was struggling to make it through the final arc,
Yes.
partially because to me that's the weakest part.
Yeah.
Just 8 minutes of dangling from a chandelier. Who are these people shooting? There's no body. These guys are shooting from height with like these military with these like assault rifles or whatever. And for like 20 minutes, I don't see any bodies on the ground.
And why did they build the city underwater?
Gotham has been New Orleans the whole time.
Yeah.
Or maybe this is like the darkest timeline of the Netherlands.
So the IMDb synopsis: when the Riddler, a sadistic serial killer, begins murdering key political figures in Gotham, Batman is forced to investigate the city's hidden corruption and question his family's involvement. Now, the Riddler is taking corrupt politicians
Mhm.
and he is putting them in Saw type scenarios. If you've
Yes.
ever seen the movie Saw or the 13 movies from the mid 2010s.
Or listen to our episode about the newest Saw movie.
That's right. Both Spiral movies. This movie is connected to both of them. So
You know that DA did kind of have a Humpback Mountain vibe going on, didn't he?
yeah, he did.
I mean, okay, no, you can't have that many mustaches without somebody being in an '80s gay porno.
My favorite line is, "I can't be everywhere, but they don't know where I am." And it's kind of an open. There's a bit of voiceover in the beginning and in the end, but not too much throughout the whole movie.
Mhm.
He's referencing the fact, like, they're showing a lot of crime throughout Gotham in the opening scene, and he's just referencing that the fear of the Batman is out. Like, everyone knows that he's there. They see the projection in the sky of the bat signal. They're all the criminals, well, most of them, at least the ones who are thinking about it, see the bat signal and they're like, "Oh shit, is he coming for me?"
They put the back signal up because I robbed a convenience store.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And they keep showing like these dark hallways and all this stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
there's this really cool walk up scene. There's a bunch of thugs on a train, and I guess the initiation process is for the young thug to punch a guy in the face.
I mean, this is literally a game based on it. It got really popular on like either Vine or TikTok or YouTube or whatever, one of those things, Friendster videos, called the Knockout Game, where you basically walk past someone all casual or walk up behind them and then try to knock them out with one hit, like a sucker punch.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. The most famous video is like a woman walking down the street in the city, and this guy like kind of runs up behind her and just does a just basically straight arms her, and then she just goes flat on the ground and he runs away. Like
Wow.
it's not for the purpose of robbing someone. It's just it's a game called the Knockout Game.
Wow, real tough guy, huh?
Well,
Jesus.
you can't just start fights in America because guns. So
Yeah, so you got to sneak people.
yeah, it's literally that. Like they don't want to get
Fuck
stabbed or
no.
shot, but they still want to be a piece of shit.
Yeah, it sounds like I've never heard of this. So they just run up to because I thought they were gonna stab the guy or
Mhm.
mug him or whatever, but it's like no, go knock him out. And the trick with this guy is he knew it was coming, so I don't know
Yeah.
exactly if he would have knocked him out, but he was just like this skinny little pencil
tell you
pusher type guy.
I'll tell you what though, I would have pretended to be knocked out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I don't know. That's a tricky thing because then I don't know. Do they kick you while you're down? They're gonna kick you while you're down.
I mean, that many guys probably, like when you have
Yeah.
that many people on you, like you're really super duper fucked because like
Yes.
there's always like one or two pieces of shit that like want to kick someone and run away, and like
it's like if you try
I
and
thought
fight
Batman
back.
was too nice to this insane clown pussies.
Yeah.
This is not what ICP meant for us to find.
And I'm not exactly sure. So did you see the Joker movie?
Like Joaquin Phoenix version.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought we did. I thought we did that one for an episode.
Yeah, maybe we did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because I remember talking about how he was a fucking sniper in that subway scene.
Oh yeah. Go check out our Joker review that I completely forgot about.
It's more memorable than Dan thinks.
Yes. I just have a bad memory these days. Anyways, so at the end of the Joker movie, spoilers for the Joker movie, there's like Joaquin Phoenix shoots Robert De Niro in the face and then goes out on the street and everything is like burning down and he's kind of just happy that there are people like him around him, I guess. Is this supposed to branch off of that? Because everything's in chaos when we first start this movie. Or is it just that everyone sucks in the city?
I don't think they are willing to give Joaquin Phoenix enough negotiation leverage to say that this is an offshoot of that.
Oh, okay.
Because then he could ask for any amount of money he wanted to play in the sequel. So it's definitely not that until they get the contract locked in.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, there's nothing in the movie I can think of that makes it so that the movie is not connected. I'm pretty sure that quadruple negative sentence put it correctly. There's nothing that doesn't not say it isn't not that.
And there's a moment where Batman finally comes out of this dark tunnel to save this guy. And just the awesome, like, slow music that plays throughout the movie. And the guy Batman just slowly walking through and he just beats the shit out of all these dudes and lets
I want to talk about the walkout because the WWE wishes they could do a walkout like that. Like, doom, doom,
yes.
doom, doom. Do you think that he spent a lot of time like figuring out which bat boots sounded the best?
Right.
Like he was in a movie studio with like a soundboard, and Alfred's like, oh, we need to bring down the timbre just a little bit. Let's try with the rubber sample 27A, and then really put your heel into it, Bruce. We got to scare these shitheads in the subway.
We got to make it sound like Spurs, kind of.
And but yeah, just like the walkout just absolutely sells the scene, and then
yes,
it turns into a really good fight scene. But I was a little distracted during it because I thought, was Batman just in a mostly empty subway? Is he like following these? Is he like buying like their TikTok like user data to figure out where they've been committing their crimes so that he can like figure it out ahead of time?
Yeah, Batman's big on Vine.
You think Gotham has a lot of Vine in it? I feel like Vine's a little too wholesome to have caught on in Gotham.
Yeah. Elon Musk bought Twitter and Bruce Wayne bought Vine.
You can't tell me that Jeff Bezos didn't spend like 3 weekends thinking about being Batman.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like he got jacked, but he just couldn't quite beat 9 stunt doubles in a fight, so he decided to drop it.
But yeah,
I mean, Batman was obviously like he picked out those guys to follow, and then he saw them get on the subway. Do you think he took like a faster train, like a Bruce Wayne train, to get there ahead of them? Because he wasn't sure what exit they get off, right? But he had to be. I mean, he couldn't have like. Do you think he was like just on the subway car waiting for him to get off?
Maybe that was his paragliding test run there. He landed on top of the train.
Man, they really should have shown us that scene. People know who the Batman is. Like, if you live in Gotham and it's been, I think he said 2 years of him showing up when the bat signal goes on, why didn't that Chinese guy know who he was?
Right, and he's like, "Oh, please don't hurt me." It's like, do you know who the hell I am?
No, I don't know who you are, Bruce. I mean, shit.
Yeah. You mentioned WWE. Just look up the Undertaker entrance, like a WrestleMania entrance, and that's what Batman's walk-up was like.
Yeah, but with different tights and a cape.
Yes.
I will say though, I'm not a fan of the mask or the cowl in this one. You know, there are 2 parts to being Batman. One of them is like being a good Bruce Wayne. We've had better Bruce Waynes before.
Yes.
And the other part is having a good jawline and voice to go with the cowl. And like, you know, because there's stunt doubles for, like, you're literally the masked vigilante. So like there's a stunt double for the fighting. You know, there's a reason Tom Cruise isn't playing Batman.
Yeah.
No, you can't do your own stunts, dumbass. We got a schedule to keep to.
Yeah.
You can do spy movies. We have time for that.
And Batman's
no one has
at
time
least
for you to play
5'10".
Thor. You're not going to wait until you learn to throw lightning, weirdo. No, I'm going to do real lightning. You know, but the other half is like the jawline and voice. And I don't know if when you see him outside the costume, you don't think it's going to work. But like they do a good job of making him seem intimidating.
Yes.
But I think it's because of the way they did the cowl, because I don't know, it seemed a little more rounded and spiky and like really different than all the other Batman masks. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and it's got more of so like around the jaw is completely wide open, and it's got like it's kind of, all of the armor is up by the nose and up, and like by the face, the mouth and the jaw is completely wide open. So all the villains in this movie's headshot accuracy, they would be shitty in a FPS game because their headshot accuracy is dog shit because he's completely armored everywhere except his face. Just shoot him in the fucking face.
Yeah, he literally walked through automatic gunfire like 3 or 4 times.
Yes.
Like he walked through gunfire the way a Dragon Ball Z character walks through like an explosion after they power up or whatever. The scene that comes to mind is when Vegeta is like realizing that Perfect Cell is too strong for him, and Cell just walks through his rapid fire shot, you know, the one that's never ever worked.
Yeah,
but it was that with gunfire, but his chin's like right there. Like he should have gotten a ricochet if nothing else. Yeah, so Batman is now, you know, Superman.
Yeah, their TTK is really low. So in the beginning of the movie, we get our first glimpse of the villain, and they do this really creepy thing. The guy's looking across the street. You just see it from the binoculars point of view, and he ends up.
I was certain when I was watching that, I actually wrote down, "Okay, boys and girls, pearls or no pearls," because I was sure we were watching that that was Bruce Wayne. They were going to go to the theater, and we're going to have the shooting.
Yes.
And they were just someone else. I'm like, what?
I'm so glad we didn't do another origin. I mean, we get like little glimpses of it, but it wasn't a full origin, thankfully.
Yeah, the only thing that could have been more cliche is with that origin would be if like Alfred sat down and told Bruce, you know, with great power comes great responsibility.
Bruce, your Uncle Ben has been murdered. They do this creepy thing where the the villain infiltrates the politician's house. And the first time you see the villain is just his glasses, like his eyes reflecting off of the guy's TV standing behind him. That shit actually like startled me.
Yeah. And it's really scary because that looks like a real GIMP mask.
Yeah.
Like you can buy that mask at any store that also sells like flavored lube.
Yeah. Any bondage, any sex swing related stores.
Any place that has spurs and any place that has spurs and what are those things that you hit a horse with?
Oh yeah, those frayed whip
sticks.
things.
Yeah. No, like the horse stick.
Ironically, Batman bought his boots at the same places he bought the mask.
Yeah, there's an unusual amount of bondage gear in this one.
Yep. And weirdly enough, they have bowls and bongs there too. Every sex shop has marijuana paraphernalia. Oh, I don't know about
Yeah,
that
stuff's not for marijuana, Dan.
Yeah.
Not for marijuana. Anywho, yeah, he does the classic like stand in the back while everyone's walking past him with all the peripheral vision of a video game NPC.
Yep.
I was just reliving every time I like hid behind a pillar and someone walked around me.
The only thing that would have been better is if he was in the box like Metal Gear Solid. Just a cardboard box over him.
Yeah. The villain kind of pulled me away because I just could not unsee Drew Carey in a GIMP mask for the whole movie.
Yes.
I feel like he was talking like him. He definitely looked like him in a GIMP mask. Like the guy playing Riddler doesn't look an awful lot like Jim Carrey, but in a mask, he fucking nails it. I was like, whose murder is it anyway?
It's true.
That's a whose line is it anyway joke for all the people out there that are big whose line is it anyway fans.
People who were up at 2 a.m. in the mid 90s.
Listen here, you piece of shit. That show was on at 8 p.m.
Was it?
Yep.
Every time, maybe I just only caught reruns because that's when I was awake.
Yeah, they made some not long ago. You don't need to watch it, but they made some.
Oh, really? Oh boy.
Listen, they're trying.
Yeah. You got to reboot everything, apparently.
Yeah,
so I believe that the Riddler works at Hallmark because every time he does a kill, he has like a nice greeting card for Batman.
Well, yeah, it's the little details that make the Riddler work. I mean,
yes,
this is going to sound a little too video gamey of me, but if there's no green question marks, you're not the Riddler.
Right.
He was a pretty good villain. Mm-hmm. I liked his plots and the way he went around like kind of driving everyone his way. Yep. But if there's no green question marks, you're not the Riddler.
This is why. Now I'm going to fast forward to the post-credit scene really quick.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the movie, the Riddler is in jail in Arkham Asylum with a man who's talking to him. And the man says to the Riddler, "Riddle me this," right? So my thought was that guy is the actual Riddler, who is Edward Nygma is the Riddler's name. You know, get it? Enigma.
Oh,
yeah.
What?
Which people are trying to say that is the Joker. Now, it would make more sense if it was the actual Riddler who was using this guy as a pawn without him knowing.
Or they could be going like the TV show Gotham, where like the character they introduce the characters and kind of hint that it's them, but then like the character dies because it wasn't them.
Yes, that's what I was thinking it was, because this guy was just kind of, following the plot that the Riddler was kind of the puppeteer from Arkham Asylum somehow. But people are saying it's the Joker, and I'll believe it when I see it. Because if you think about it, the Riddler throughout the entire movie, this Riddler that we have in this one, never says "riddle me this" once.
They had to have been working together, or Drew Carey would be wondering where all these codes come from.
Right. That's a good point. Which again could relate to my theory, which would be the real Riddler will come out in this movie, or possibly a third one, because based on how much this movie made, we're getting a sequel.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I had my doubts about what's his bucket as Batman, but I mean, they more or less sold me on it.
Yes,
I like the voice a lot more than you can understand what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I hope we don't hope it doesn't doesn't go in the same trajectory. Like, because the series started up because the previous series started off with a normal Batman voice, and then we ended up with Batman versus Bane in just a conversation that can only be described by two people gargling in a garble fight.
Yes.
I was born in the darkness.
It's like, fuck off.
I mean, I appreciated trying to give them a unique voice, but I do need some enunciation.
Yes.
Or some subtitles. Oh my god. On the topic of voices though, why did the cops have such weird voices?
What do you mean?
Jim Gordon's partner had like a really weird nasally voice. And then the police chief also had, "You son of a bitch, don't you threaten me."
Yeah. Over the top.
The police around here, and I'll have you down for the count.
I did like the guy that was playing his detective friend.
I want to call him Jeff Gordon. Jim Gordon.
Yeah, Jim Johnson. The actor's name is Jeffrey Wright, and it was Saw meets Sherlock Holmes meets Lethal Weapon.
But yeah, I thought he did a really good job of that character. It wasn't 100% like, comic book Commissioner Gordon, but I was definitely pretty happy with his performance, and like he took some big risk like as a character, like bringing Batman into a crime scene. But I guess that's what you have to do to like be a good cop in Gotham. Yeah, I have to say though, that actor, best character in Westworld by
who is it?
What?
Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah.
Okay, I've never seen Westworld.
Westworld is an interesting show. Well, we should do an episode or two of it. It's got a lot of philosophy and stupid in it.
Okay. Episode 1 coming up right after the Batman.
Oh, in the beginning when like the criminal's like looking at the skylight, that cab just like fucking runs into him. It's like, "Hey, watch where you're going." Like the dude was standing still.
Yeah.
With a pumpkin on his head. How'd you not see him? Watch where you're going. Hey,
this is supposed to be New York City, so
Yeah. I could have used, I don't know, like they should have. I really wish they had gone through the script or plot points like one more time and like cleaned it up a little bit. Like there's nothing plot wise that really requires the characters to be dumb.
Right.
Like the whole like the entire police force comes in because a very important guy was murdered. But somehow when the entire police force is in the house, no one thinks to like walk around and find the fucking murder weapon in a car tire.
Yeah.
I really feel like someone should have been looking around just a little bit. Like you don't need to be real careful to find a murder weapon jabbed into a car tire.
Right.
And then they find a USB drive and they just plug it in.
Yeah, it's a
and
thumb
the world's
drive.
greatest
Get
detective
it?
watches him do it.
The guy that is dead there, the politician, is missing his thumb, and they find it in his car, and they use it for the thumb drive. And as soon as they plug it into the computer, it uploads all the scandalous photos of him and emails him from Detective Gordon's email.
Yep.
It's like, oh, I'm fucked. Sends it to all, I guess, the newspaper sites, the Gotham Gazette or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Colin, go ahead.
My next note is this is a big jump here, but why does Catwoman change her clothes in front of a window with like no blinds on it?
Because Frank's across the street and he likes to watch.
Is that how she pays the rent?
Yeah.
Only windows. But
Colin Farrell in this movie is fucking awesome. He's the Penguin. And
yeah, he definitely transforms for that one.
yeah. And I do like that they establish this world in this movie. I know they had 3 hours to do it,
Mhm.
but they set up the Penguin and he plays a role, but he's kind of essentially he's just a seed that's planted for future movies, which I do enjoy because it makes the world feel full.
Well, I mean, he spends a good amount of time as like, like in like in a CSI movie, like they spend like 20 minutes thinking they know who it is, and then it's never that guy.
Right.
Like it's always at like 8:25 they find out who they really think did it, but then at 8:45 they find out it wasn't him.
Yes.
That's who the Penguin was in this movie. I thought.
So the Penguin will be the guy soon.
But I mean, how good was that car chase scene though? Like, I know it was dumb, but like it was. I mean,
good.
That was the best Batmobile we've had to date, I think.
Yes.
I can't think of a better. Like, there've been Batmobiles that were more sci-fi, but there hasn't been one that like hit the screen, hit the auditorium like that.
The sound design in this movie is magnificent, and we've reviewed, I don't know, 100 movies on this show, and I've never talked about the sound design. It is amazing. You have to see this in the theaters.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think they've got like a week or two left, right? Or no?
Yeah, it's still in the theater here, but there are very few movie times. It actually has more show times than Morbius right now.
I mean, Morbius was kind of a stinker, right?
Yeah, it was all right. It was your best 5 out of 10 fucking movie that you'll see. You know?
Yeah, I do want to know. I do want to know that what kind of car was Penguin driving, because he gave the Batmobile like jet demon car a run for its money.
A Ford Pinto. No, I don't know. It was just it seemed like a standard car. But
I was like, how is he getting away from this thing?
yeah, I don't know what the fuck the Batmobile was, but it was awesome. So it was like a Dodge Challenger or something like that, and it was fantastic. All right.
So you've seen it twice so far?
Yes.
I imagine you're gonna watch it again before it comes out.
No, I won't go to the theater again because I'm gonna see The Northman on Thursday, and the wife wants to see Sonic 2, so that'll be my 2 movies I'll go see.
I hope Sonic 2 is good. I enjoyed the first one.
Yeah, Knuckles is in it. Knuckles is my boy.
To me, the movie's gonna ride or is gonna be really good or really bad based on how well Jim Carrey pulls off Robotnik.
He's a ridiculous
movie
human.
After our
Yes.
7 movie.
Yep.
The most unrealistic part of this whole movie is when there's like an empty parking lot next to a nightclub.
Mhm.
That nightclub has like 600 people in it.
Yeah.
And there isn't like a concert. No one else ever comes in and out. They're just like pod people in there or something. There's no line for a nightclub.
Do you know who I am? Yeah. He shows up a few times as Batman, then shows up once as Bruce Wayne, and each time he asks, "Do you know who I am?" And he beats the shit out of those 2 twin Russian guys or whatever.
Yeah, they have a hard time with it.
Yep.
I don't think we talked about how much Batman walks through gunfire in this one.
Yeah, a little bit.
I am more than willing to to believe that the billionaire superhero like has next level bulletproof armaments in his hat and his helmet and his chest plate, but exactly what technology makes them fire directly at his chest every single time? Like,
giant magnets.
He doesn't catch one in the hand when he's trying to punch someone who has a gun. He doesn't get one like in the elbow or the arm. He doesn't catch any in the legs. I'm assuming the knees aren't bulletproof too, but no one tries to shoot for his, perfect jawline either. Like, I don't know. I feel like you're going to feel like the third time Batman walks through gunfire, you're going to aim for the head after that. Full auto, tends to jerk up anyway. Like, they should have 1 or 2 go in that direction just by accident. They did a really good job of casting for Catwoman. I was a little sad, like at the end where she left. I'm like, does that mean she's not going to be in the second and third one, or is she going to come back after like a time skip? I don't know. It's going to feel like a really, really fake departure. If she's in the next movie too. Like, you just left. I have to go until the very next episode.
I didn't mind Catwoman at all. I thought she was pretty good. My problem with these movies is that every time we do a superhero movie, we have to have, it's not Batman and Catwoman. Just give me at least the first one where he's the only hero. They do this a lot in the comic books all the time. It's like, oh, this is the Spider-Man comic, but it's got
I mean, I didn't think she
whoever.
was a hero in this one.
Yeah.
She's not, I mean, she's not an antagonist, but I mean, she fights him to try over like the passport. She doesn't cooperate. She kind of messes up. She messes up like his investigation by going off the rails. She doesn't manage to save her friend at all. And then at the end, she tries to murder a guy with Batman right there. So I mean, I didn't think like she was, you know, a top tier character. I mean, her in terms of like time on screen, was she the second most common thing? I mean, she had more than Penguin, but I don't think she had like much more than Officer Gordon.
I would say she had the second most screen time.
I don't know. She's really hot, so I just probably enjoyed it. I have a baklava thing now. What are you gonna do?
And I do like the fact that her mask, like especially when he first confronts her, they're trying to steal
the passport.
The passport. And
it's the missing girl's passport. She was trying to get it. Well, she wasn't missing. She was at the apartment. Catwoman, who cannot spot a tail to save her fucking life.
Right.
He rode her bumper all the way home.
Yeah, in a fucking hell demon car.
He could have been. He should have been sitting on the trunk of the cab. Like
he should have just knocked on the window and asked to ride with her.
Yeah. He should have been sharing a cab with. He's like, "How'd you get here? I have my ways."
He's like, "I saw your apartment. Let me pay."
Yeah, and then like she goes missing as soon as Batman lays eyes on her, which you know he knows that she's. Does Batman know that he's looking for that? Yeah, he's looking for her, but he follows Catwoman anyway. I guess because he thought she was safe too. So which means that either A, they were watching the whole time and waiting for her to. Well, she'd already left. Like they don't really explain how she goes missing and by whom, because she goes in and out of the club safely, but they know she was at her apartment. Or did I miss some plot points?
Because we see her leave, and then after they go for the passport, they come back to her apartment, and the door's open, and she's gone.
I feel like you and I are trying to discuss something that everyone who's listening to this already knows.
Yeah.
And they're just yelling like, "No, dumbass, it was so and so. They showed us in that 20-second clip that you were too busy, I don't know, eating popcorn through or something." Which is a shame because I'm not watching it a third time.
Anyways, so I do like the fact that her mask was just like a knit ski mask, because she had like the leather getup, but that could just be a like a motorcycle situation. What I'm trying to say is her getup wasn't crafted like his was. It was just something to throw together. It was her black costume.
Yeah. She wasn't also Batman.
Yes. Because in the books and everything, and the movie with Michael Keaton when she was in there, it's like an actual Catwoman suit, but it's just a black suit with a regular ski mask. So I did appreciate that. Yeah, she gets back from.
How would you feel like if they had like a movie before this one with her as Catwoman? That was like the main thing, and like you learn how she, I don't know, starts to infiltrate the club and like becomes a kung fu whip master or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I would enjoy it if they did it after this movie, because you got to have Batman be but you could just do a prequel. Nobody cares.
Yeah, I mean, like if this movie came out like between this movie and the next Batman movie.
Yeah, I'm good with that. So they get back from the place. I'm looking at it now on my phone, and the apartment's empty, so it doesn't show exactly what it is. But her dad, Carmine Falcone, is the one who has her kidnapped.
But why did Falcone put the body in that van? Because it seems like Penguin either didn't know or did a good job of pretending not to know, because they got distracted by the fact that the world's greatest detective can't Google translate something from Spanish. I was really hyped for like a smart Batman. And this was not written as smart as like an episode of Monk.
Right, they're trying to get there. Right, this is him realizing that he has to be the detective rather than just an intimidating force. I wonder if in the sequel we're also going to get a lot of Bruce Wayne development, because seemingly his outreach, like they mention it a couple times.
Yeah, because like he goes reclusive. He meets the Hope and Change candidate And like she talked to him at the funeral, which I'm surprised she went to that funeral. Like, why would the mayoral candidate be paying? I don't know. Let's think about this. Like, you've got a big, let's say New York City has a big mayor candidate campaign, right? And the person who's in like first place and most likely to win, because he was elected last time, he gets murdered by a serial killer, and then like a bunch of incriminating information gets emailed from a detective's laptop. Do you think that the other person who's also running for mayor goes to that funeral?
Right.
And like pays respects to the person that was, as far as the pictures goes, abusing a missing homeless girl or whatever?
Right.
Because like everyone knows who she is and they know she's missing, and she had a black eye in the photo leaving the sketchy club with all the drugs in it. Maybe you don't go to that. Maybe you don't go and put flowers at the tombstone right away. My previous opponent, who apparently beats women, was a great man, and I'll miss him greatly. Like, I'm not going to that funeral.
Right. A lot of people showed up.
Yeah, like this is I'm sorry, but like if you're dying, if the last thing that happens before you die is someone puts out pictures of you with a beaten woman at a drug den, I'm not going to the funeral.
You know, it was like as big as a wedding as that UK one from a few years ago, the royal wedding.
Yeah, man, Gotham really is a shithole.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it'd be something bad. All
Like,
he
oh
does
man,
is use transients.
he used to bring the best hookers.
Well, I mean, he did. The great final twist. Well, not the final twist, but one of the big twists from the genius supervillain is that he tried to murder Bruce Wayne on the assumption that Bruce Wayne opens his own mail. That a billionaire whose father was murdered opens his own mail. I mean, never mind the fact that Alfred opens it because without like any sort of care at all. Like, yeah, just put the Anthrax right here in the dining room. Is that all the mail that a billionaire gets? I feel like a billionaire would get a lot more mail than that. Like
the truck hadn't pulled up yet.
I mean, I'm sure like a real life Bruce Wayne would get dump trucks of mail.
Yeah,
you can't just send a letter. You can't just send a letter to Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk. You think they're gonna get that letter? Or do you think that like Jeff Bezos' best friend would open up an envelope if you put an envelope on it and said Jeff Bezos only see this? No. That thing's gonna be opened up by a hazmat team with a robot.
I do like the fact that when the Riddler's arrested and Batman goes to see him at Arkham, and the Riddler, it's seemingly so he thought that he and the Batman were working together, you know, to rid the world of the scum. It seems like when Batman denies him that he knows who the Batman is because he keeps going Bruce Wayne. And there's this cool scene of like you can see the fear in Batman's eyes. But he just doesn't. He's like stone-faced, except you can see his eyes widen a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's just frozen. I thought that was a really cool scene.
Yeah, I was confused about that because did he figure it out in that minute? Because
he didn't figure it out. But he was saying that Bruce Wayne was the key. But Batman thought, and the audience thought, that he was revealing his identity. But he actually didn't know it.
Okay, so now I feel bad because I thought that he knew who Bruce Wayne, who the Batman was.
No.
So now I'm the one who's not the greatest detective in the world.
And there's some cool action where they blow the dams of the city because apparently on the outskirts of the entire city, there's just dams holding up water that could drown the entire population.
Yeah, so, I was and like you can just park vans next to them without anyone worrying about it.
Yeah.
Even though there's like, you know, a serial killer causing all sorts of havoc, no one is suspicious of random vans.
Yeah. Moonfall thinks that the city's too flooded.
Honestly, like the last bit of the movie, I don't know, like the big shootout scene, the big flood, the fact that the second to last big enemy was like an electric cable that was kind of sparking a little bit. I don't know. That was a little underwhelming. The rest of the movie, I thought the movie ended on its lowest point.
It was fucking solid movie all the way through, I feel like. Let's give you some numbers, then we're going to do our ratings, and then we'll give you the IMDb rating and get on out of here. Opening weekend, 134 million, which is 51st all time for an opening weekend, and 17th in superhero movies all time for domestic box office. So the domestic box office, 365,753,000. The international, 386 million, for a total of 752 million, which is 110th all time. The production budget was 200 million, so they will definitely be making a sequel. Would you like to take?
They did that for only 200 million?
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. No, I'm impressed. I would have said that was a $600 million movie.
So there were two Batman movies that were ahead of this as well: The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises. So
Well, I mean, yeah,
It's good
Rise
company.
is Heath Ledger, right?
no, Rises is Batman. Regulars, the regular Dark Knight is Heath Ledger.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, the Heath Ledger one definitely earned. That one was
Yeah.
Part of the reason why I don't like this movie as much as I thought it is much otherwise is because it's trying to follow like the other Batman movies.
Mhm.
A little too close for my taste. I feel like it hasn't been long enough to reboot Batman.
It's kind of the same Spider-Man syndrome here. We're just getting so many reboots of it. It's like, well, it's Christian Bale, then it's Ben Affleck, but the Ben Affleck thing didn't work out. So, it's the same thing with Spider-Man.
If we get another Superman, we riot.
Yeah.
Who should play Superman? Your favorite Peter Parker. I think they should make him Superman.
Andrew Garfield?
No, your favorite Spider-Man.
Oh, I see. Tobey Maguire?
No, your favorite
Oh, my
Spider-Man.
absolute favorite. Oh,
Yeah, your
okay.
the best Spider-Man of all time.
What they should do is they should keep Tom Holland as Spider-Man, but
Mhm.
then make Mark Wahlberg as Superman and have them do a duo movie where they travel across the.
Mark Wahlberg is gonna be his father.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, see, we're gonna have a completely believable Tom Holland as a experienced New York City reporter. We're gonna completely believe this guy went to school and became a reporter.
Since Aunt May dies in Spider-Man 3,
Mhm.
they should have Mark Wahlberg be Uncle Ben and have him come back.
All right.
Oh,
there we go.
God. All right. So let's have your rating for the Batman.
Yeah, it's hard for me to rate a movie like this because you should see it. It's a really good movie.
Yep.
But like when I watched the movie, I think there are so many things that they had right that this movie could have, without a lot of work, been better than like No Way Home. They could have done that easily, just rewriting a couple things. As long as movie is, I'm not going to say they should have shortened it. I didn't think there was a lot of fat on it. There was a lot of meat in this movie. That's not like a sex thing, or is it? Those mustaches,
Or is it?
right? They just should have had Shyamalama Ding Dong give this a pass to put the twist in there a little bit better. And I love that you don't even ask who that is.
Yeah. M. Night Shyamalan.
I don't want to give it a low score because of things that's missing, because it is a really good movie.
Yes.
So I'm going to go for I'm going to give it like an 8 out of 12 instead of out of the 10s, because it could have been really good, but they did a lot of stuff they did really well. I mean, the action is solid. You said the sound is right there.
Mhm.
Everyone is well cast. I don't think anyone was not well cast.
Right.
Falcone was awesome. I don't think we talked about how good Falcone was.
100%. John Turturro plays Carmine Falcone, and he's fantastic.
We could probably do this entire review again and talk about how good other characters were.
Yeah.
And still be accurate.
Yep.
I don't think there's no one who I didn't like the casting of.
Yeah.
I didn't get the voices, but I don't know, maybe you're from New York, so maybe it makes more sense for you. But I thought a lot of people were just kind of talking funny for no reason. Squeaky voice, chief police.
Falcone had a good accent going.
Falcone had the best accent in the movie. Yeah, I thought the casting was
All right, so I'm gonna give it a 9. I absolutely love this movie.
awesome.
There was one part in it that I haven't talked about that I detested that made me want to leave, but I'm just gonna skip it. Go see this movie. It's a must watch. It is actually out on HBO Max right now, and I think it's available to rent digital. But as we said with the sound, go to the theater. It's still in theaters for a little bit longer. And IMDb has 361,000 ratings already for an 8.2 out of 10. So smack bang in the middle of what we just told you. So the internet is right for a change.
Internet tripped on its dick and fell into success.
Yes. All right, so we'll wrap it on up here, and we will catch you guys later.
Until next time.